Believe it or not, the original version of Hocus Pocus was quite different from the one we all know and love today. In fact, several key scenes and an entire storyline were cut before the movie hit theaters. Imagine a darker, more whimsical side to the Sanderson Sisters world, featuring strange creatures like candy crows and an entire sequence set in a grocery store. These lost moments have intrigued fans for years, sparking endless discussions and petitions, asking Disney to release the unseen footage. Now, although many of these scenes seem to have been lost to time, Disney did toss us a bone with the 25th anniversary Blu-ray release. A handful of smaller, previously unseen scenes were included, which gave fans just a taste of what could have been. But what about the scenes fans are really clamoring for? We're talking about the famous swimming pool scene, the grocery store showdown, and, perhaps most mysterious of all, the Candy Crow storyline. Sadly, these highly anticipated scenes were not included in that release. There's been a lot of speculation about where these deleted scenes could be. Some fans point to a pay-per-view broadcast from 1994, which supposedly aired a version of Hocus Pocus that included all these missing moments. This rumor has been floating around for years, but here's the catch. No one has been able to verify it. Even after all this time, there's no known recording of this elusive TV broadcast. It's like the holy grail for die-hard fans, but as of now, it remains an unsolved mystery. So, what exactly are we missing? Well, there are some clues scattered throughout the original scripts. These scripts suggest that the Candy Crow storyline played a much larger role in the film, potentially adding a darker, more magical element to the plot. The grocery store scene would have shown the Sanderson sisters interacting with the modern world in hilarious and possibly chaotic ways, as they tried to navigate aisles of food and everyday items they didn't understand. And let's not forget the swimming pool scene, another fan favourite that never saw the light of day. Some snippets of these scenes can be found in early trailers and TV spots for the movie. So, while Disney hasn't officially released the full versions, little glimpses of them do exist. That leaves us wondering just how much of the movie was reshaped before it reached its final version.
Good night. Sleep tight. No screaming.
I've always loved Halloween. Halloween, from the time I was a little boy, was the holiday. This idea really came about as almost every idea that I've ever created as a story for my children. In this case, I was sitting with my daughter. We were sitting in front of the house, and the neighborhood cat came by named Sam. And he kind of dragged himself across her legs and then went off to one of his adventures. And I said to Lexi, did you know that he was really a little boy? I said that witches had turned him into a cat. And, her eyes were huge, and she just kind of looked at him. And she was fascinated to know about the boy that was turned into a cat and why the witches turned him into a cat. And from there, I just started creating.
In this video, we're going to take a closer look at these legendary deleted scenes. We'll break down what we know about the scenes that were included in the 25th anniversary Blu-ray release, and the ones that remain locked away, or possibly lost forever. So if you're ready to dive deep into the mystery of these lost scenes, stick around, because we're uncovering everything you need to know. Original storyboard, extended scene, the Candy Crow. The Candy Crow subplot is a separate concept from what we see in the final Hocus Pocus movie. In the early drafts of the script, The Sanderson sisters didn't just use their magic to lure children, they used enchanted candy crows. These sinister treats would put kids into a trance-like state, making them easy targets for the witches. One of the most chilling moments in the original script involved Thackery Binx waking up to find his sister Emily missing, with only a half-eaten candy crow left behind as a clue. In 1993, the witches were meant to use these cursed candies again, this time to lure modern-day children to their lair. While this storyline didn't make it into the final cut, fans can spot brief glimpses of it in early trailers and TV promos, where the Sandersons are seen handing out these ominous treats. Interestingly, this plot also featured prominently in the original novelization of the film, which came out alongside the movie's release. However, when the film hit theaters, the entire Candy Crow sequence was completely removed. If these scenes were ever rediscovered and included in a future re-release, we'd essentially have two wildly different versions of Hocus Pocus. It would be like watching a darker, more eerie version of the classic we know today, with the Candy Crows adding a whole new level of enchantment and mystery to the story.
Emily? Emily! Emily! Elijah! Elijah! Ask to see my sister Emily. Hey, but look, they conjure. Oh God, the woods! Emily!
This next scene is an extended dialogue deleted scene during the witch's hanging scene, mainly focusing on a conversation between Mary and Winifred, adding some comedy. This section also includes scenes from the original storyboard.
Oh, did I leave the cauldron burning?
I don't know.
Would you mind just running in and checking the cauldron?
Evil woman.
Has no heart!
You're right, I'm wrong.
Next up, we have a deleted scene of Max arguing with his father about taking Danny trick or treating. Followed by another deleted scene, featuring Max's parents, Dave and Jenny Dennison, after he and Danny have left for trick or treating.
Blabs are fat mouth about my personal stuff and I'm supposed to take her trick or treating? Forget it, Dad.
Oh, okay. We'll forget it. Since you're not big enough to show your little sister a good time, I guess you're probably not big enough to get your driver's permit this year.
Oh, unfair. Totally unfair.
Life is give and take, Max. It isn't always fair. Look at this place. It's a paradise. Come on. That's what we've given them, a paradise. No earthquakes, no smog.
Yeah, no mudslides.
That's right. The only thing we have to worry about here is witches.
Witches. Witches, that's funny.
Come on.
Next, we have an extended scene script notes when Max, Danny, and Allison enter the Sanderson house. In the original shooting script, while exploring the house, Allison shows Max and Danny a painting of the witches. Allison says, "That's Winifred, the eldest. Her father was a warlock. This is Mary. Her father was a bloodhound, and she could follow the scent of a child for miles. Sarah, the youngest, was strange. She would lure children, usually young boys, into the woods to play, and they would never be seen again. Next, we have the storyboards for the alternative candlelight sequence. These now are the storyboard notes for each scene. Max, Allison, and Danny approach the candle. Max ignites the black candle, but instead of giving off light, the flame literally bucks in the light. Like a black hole with an explosive implosion, all the light in the room is sucked into the candle. At the same time, a strange howling wind emanates out of the flame and blows around the room. Hellish laughter and screaming are heard as the wind gusts, blowing around dust and objects. Then everything goes quiet. The kids breathe a sigh of relief. In an early version of the script, there was a flashback sequence as Binx reflected on life under Winifred's curse of immortality. These now are the storyboard notes for each scene. Because I hesitated, my sister died. My parents never did understand what happened to me. Binx gazes through the window of a house at a family scene. I'll be there to stop them, so for 3 centuries I guarded the house. In another extended scene that was cut from the final film, you see Billy searching for the children under the graveyard. And shortly after the previous extended scene, we see another. This time, the extended scene is of the bus driver talking to the witches when they are on the bus.
Ladies, this is a magic bus, but I do need a token or its financial equivalent. Por favor.
Perhaps you would care for a small token of my affection.
Next up is one of the Holy Grail's deleted scenes from Hocus Pocus, the grocery store scene. Sadly, there isn't much available from the section, and what is available is either from some of the original trailers and TV spots. The original script for Hocus Pocus featured an entire Candy Crow storyline, which was also the original way the Sanderson Sisters tricked children in the 1600s. With candy. On the night of their return, the Sanderson Sisters decide to once again make candy crows and enter a grocery store. Sarah sits in a shopping cart while being pushed around. Mary eats baby oil, thinking it's oil from a baby, and they also steal a grill. At one point, Mary attempts to also kidnap a baby that is sitting in a woman's shopping cart. In the original shooting script, there was also alternative dialogue. Winifred says, "See how the children go from house to house, collecting candy, greedy little beggars. We will give them candy too." The witches then say, "To market, to market, to market." Next up is arguably the most famous deleted Hocus Pocus scene, the swimming pool scene. Again, as the previous grocery store scene, all the deleted footage from this section has supposedly been lost forever, and all we have is a few photos and video clips, again from some of the original 1993 trailers and TV spots. Let's hope these last 2 deleted scenes footage has been archived somewhere and are both waiting to be discovered. As we draw to the end of the film, this next scene is the storyboards for the alternative chase sequence when the witches are following Max, Allison, and Danny in the car.
Are they following us?
No.
Good.
Hello there. Let me see your driver's permit.
Finally, in the closing scene of the film, when the witches have been defeated, turning Winifred to stone, and as the sun rises above the horizon, Mary and Sarah disintegrate into dust, along with Winifred's stone body. There is also an alternative ending. In the original shooting script, there was an entirely different ending where Binx the cat lives, but is just a cat and can no longer speak. The movie also ended with what we've all been waiting for. Max and Allison share an incredible, enchanting kiss. They then pull away for each other, overwhelmed by the magical moment. Allison says, "Do you still miss California?" And Danny says, "Could we go home, please?" Max says, "Absolutely," with Danny saying, "Binx, come on." I hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the Hocus Pocus deleted scenes and extended moments. It's always fascinating to think about how different the movie could have been with these lost storylines. Thanks so much for watching, and if you liked what you saw, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps. And if you're a fan of Disney content, from vintage Walt Disney World home movies, behind-the-scenes stories to fun facts and more, consider subscribing to the channel. I've got plenty more magical videos coming your way. See you next time.